Psalm 51 in Hebrew, verses 12, 13, and 14. Sounds something like this. Lev tahor, barali Elohim, virach nakon, charesh bakarbi. Al tashlikeni, milfaneka. Virach karashka, al takach memeni. Hashiva li shishon yesheka. Virach milva titzimekeni. In English, you know it well. It's Psalm 51, verses 10, 11, 12. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, Lord, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and sustain me with a willing spirit. David, after having been caught by the prophet Nathan with committing adultery with Bathsheba, murdering her husband, asks and seeks forgiveness of the Lord. And he writes this psalm in which he's very penitent and he's suffering for his wrongdoing. He acknowledges it, and that's what this prayer is all about. He asks God to give him, it's a request. This prayer is full of requests. He requests God to give him a clean heart. Heart in Hebrew, in this case, is used of moral character. Clean is used of ethical purity. So he's saying, give me a ethically pure moral character. But he asks it in the sense of create. Create here, bara, is the same word used in Genesis when God created the heavens and the earth. Bara is only used of God. No man can bara, only God baras. And it's because it's a creation out of nothing. God created this world out of nothing. When we create things, we create so as to only move the furniture of this universe around. God created the furniture that we move around. We do not bara, only God does. By asking God to bara lev tahor, he is saying, create out of nothing something that was not there to begin with. So that's to insinuate, or imply rather, that there is no pure, ethically pure moral character within David, or ourselves for that matter. It is God who must create that from nothing within us. And that is what David is seeking. He also says, and give a new steadfast spirit within me, in my midst, in my inward parts. Steadfast meaning firm. Probably what he's saying is enable me to stand firm when I'm tempted. And by giving me a pure, ethically pure moral character, I can stand firm when I am tempted to do what is not right. Furthermore, he asks God, do not cast me out from your presence. Do not throw me out. And furthermore, he asks, and do not take away your Holy Spirit from me. This is not part of the Trinity that he is referring to. This is rather a reference to the power of life-giving. So he's saying, do not take away your life-giving power from me. It is God who gives life. And David knows that when he does not do what is right, he separates himself from that life-giving power. And so in seeking forgiveness, he asks God to not take away that life power. And it's interesting that to take away has this idea of to deprive. And I think it's for punishment. But maybe it's not. But the point is, it's a deprivation to deprive one from something. Don't deprive me, Lord, of your life-giving power. Don't do that. That's what he's asking. And then he says, restore or give back to me the joy of your help, your deliverance, your salvation. It is God who delivers, and it is God who saves. He helps. And it's a joy that he does. But when we do not do what is right, we remove ourselves out of that joy. And so, in the forgiveness, David is saying, please restore to me to that joy. And furthermore, he asks, and sustain me with a willing spirit. It's interesting that he asks three things of the Spirit. 1, give me a new, steadfast spirit. New, it's like to renew or to anew. It's the idea that it's a fresh spirit. Steadfast, strong, firm spirit. Then he also asks not to take away the life-giving power, spirit. And then he also asks, sustain me with a willing spirit. They all seem to point towards the forgiveness of the sin that he had done and towards doing what is right. Give me a steadfast spirit so that when I am tempted to do what is wrong, I could stand firm and not do what is wrong, but do what is right. Give me your life power so that I might have life. And give me or sustain me in a willing spirit so that I might will to do what is right. But notice that it is God who does all these things. It is God who creates a clean heart. It is God who gives a steadfast spirit. It is God who keeps in the presence. It is God who gives life. It is God who restores the joy of salvation. And it is God who sustains a willing spirit. And so David is praying for forgiveness in Psalm 51. But he acknowledges that it is not by his power, his might, or his strength that he can even begin to do what is right. Rather, he seeks for God to work in his innermost being, to give him a pure heart, that is, an ethically pure moral character, so that he could do what is right and be steadfast and stay in the presence of God and have life and joy as he wills to do what is right. And so we must do the same. We must seek the very same thing. Let us make that our prayer this week.